It is just before 7 a.m. in Toronto, and we are going on a ride to one of my favorite places in the city. Let's go. Today we are heading to a very cool spot with a pretty interesting history. But first we need to cross the downtown waterfront. Lucky for me, nearly the entire way is along bike paths and multi-use trails. The path is already pretty bumpin' even early in the morning, but it's way quieter than it gets during rush hour or the weekend. I've been having a lot of thoughts lately about city living, and I'm curious to hear if you live in a city or a town or somewhere more remote. I was born and raised in Toronto, and there's a lot I love about this city. But sometimes it seems odd to me that I live here. I like being barefoot, I'm uncomfortable in crowds, I love wildlife and trees and mountains and quiet. Sometimes I wonder if the city is the right place for me, but I also think it's pretty cool to be able to try dozens of different cuisines, to hear so many languages being spoken, and to get to experience a variety of activities, art, and cultural events. Still, I definitely find myself needing to get away from the noise and busyness, and that's what brought me here. It feels so nice to be out in the sunshine. Even if it's blinding me, that's okay. This is Tommy Thompson Park, otherwise known as the Leslie Spit. And my friends brought me here a few years ago for the first time to go on a little bike ride. And I remember seeing a pile of rebar, like the rebar that is all over this beach, and being like, oh, that's too bad. It's like such a beautiful park and somebody came and like dropped their garbage here. Like, that's so sad. And then I kept seeing like rebar and metal and bricks, and I was like, wait, something tells me this isn't just like some random person dropping a bunch of scrap metal here. So from what I understand from Googling, in the 50s they had these plans to kind of like expand the harbor for, I think, shipping, and so they were filling in this area and ultimately ended up using landfill from construction debris from building subways and buildings and stuff in the downtown. And so they were planning to do this like expansion, but ultimately plans changed and this got to turn into a park instead, which I freaking love. And it's actually a really important birding area here. So dogs aren't allowed, cars aren't allowed, other than it seems like work vehicles and that kind of thing. But it's mostly just walkers, runners, bikers. It's just this beautiful space, not that far from downtown. And the birds and wildlife just get to thrive here on landfill. I just love it. Okay, time for a little coffee and snacks. I've been really loving lately reading books by different adventurers. I would very much welcome any recommendations you have in the comments. When I was a kid, it felt like there was only one possible life. Steady job, partner, kids. The gift of books, the internet, and social media is access to the insights and points of view of people all over the world. You can follow one person living on a bike for a decade, another thriving in a camper van, another off-grid in a tiny house. It's eye-opening and inspiring in a way my 10-year-old self could only dream of being able to see. But I suppose it can also come with its pitfalls. A sense of FOMO, maybe? Of wondering what the right path is for you? When your eyes are open to there not being one right way to live, which life do you choose? Okay, hold that thought. I have an important message. On a technical note, before I forget, This is a friendly reminder to check the wear on your chain. Chains stretch over time, and that's why you have to replace them. But if you miss replacing them, then as they stretch out, they start to wear away at your chain ring and your cassette. And so I try to always be on top of checking the wear on my chain. There are like a bunch of tools that bike shops have. Usually they're really happy to measure and let you know. And I checked my chain a few months ago and it was fine. And I just checked again the other day and checked with a mechanic. He's like, it's worn enough that the kind of more official guidance would be to replace the chain and the cassette. But he's like, you could try just replacing the chain, see if it works, see if it starts skipping or if it's okay. So I'm gonna swap out the chain, but this is just your friendly reminder, because if I'd been more on top of it, I could for sure just swap my chain, but I now might have to swap my cassette, and if I had waited way too long, I would have had to also replace my chain rings, and that can get really costly. So, friendly reminder to check the wear of your chain and save yourself some cash. All right, where was I? Oh right, existential drama. When I travel by bike, I can easily picture myself living the places I'm riding through. The Highlands of Scotland or a small town in the Netherlands. But something keeps pulling me back here. Friends, loved ones, the buzz of city life, activities, cultures, events. Plus, although we could certainly use more bike lanes, I can get most places in the city by bike, so I don't need a car and have a major airport to get me to adventures anywhere in the world. If you've been around my channel a while, you know I'm a fairly anxious person. Maybe some of you can relate. But one thing I've gotten a lot better at over the years, with a lot of practice, is quieting my busy brain so I can check in with my intuition. I don't know if I'll still live in a city in 10 years, or 5 years, or even less. But for now, it feels like it's working for me. I'll keep making the most of my time here, finding the quiet adventures I need, and checking in on whether it's time to make a change. No stress, just gentle reflection and redirection, if needed. Ultimately, I'm incredibly lucky to even be able to think about where I might want to live or what the right choices are for me. I am very grateful for that. Anyways, these are my thoughts for the day. I would love to hear yours. What's been floating through your mind lately?